The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. McNeese Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. Welcome to On the JoB with your host, Lynn Parrish, editor of the Journal of Business. On the JoB is about the Inland Northwest business community, where you'll hear firsthand the backstories from the men and women reporters at the Journal of Business. On the JoB is brought to you in part by McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. Here's Lynn.
Welcome to the On the JoB podcast. With me, Lynn Parrish. I'm here today with Samantha Peone, one of our regular guests, reporter at the Journal of Business. Sam's joining us today to talk about occupational projections of what jobs will be most in demand in the future. Sam wrote this story for our Workforce Summit special section. Event we had this morning. Great event, lots of good information on what's happening in the Spokane labor market. But Sam, why don't you start by talking to us about the data you found and how you decided to present it?
Yeah, so what we used for this story was an annual economic forecast that the Washington State Employment Security Department does. Sure. And so we got that information from Patrick Jones over at Eastern Washington University. Sure. So he went through that data and he compiled it for the university's internal use. Mm-hmm. And so we ended up compiling it two different ways. So we have the top 5 projected in-demand occupations in Spokane County that we got directly from the ESD. And then we also got his information, which was top 5 in-demand occupations in Spokane County that require at least a bachelor's degree.
Sure. And that makes a lot of sense that he'd be looking at the data that requires a 4-year degree, being with EWU. They do a lot of good stuff over there in his office. So why don't we start by talking about the occupations that are going to be most in demand that will require a degree? Yeah,
so according to the data that he went through, he found that registered nursing will be the most in demand, or I guess, yes, the most in demand occupation from 2020 to 2025.
Sure.
And that, he says, can be contributed to what we already know about Spokane County, which is that we have a thriving and growing healthcare sector.
Sure.
Followed by that is down to about 123 people per year growth, and that would be general and operations managers.
Sure.
Followed by accountants and auditors at 78, and then elementary school teachers at 69, not including special education, and then also substitute teachers at 64.
Wow, that's great. So a lot of growth in some professional services, healthcare, and then in education as well. Not entirely surprising when we look at not only where we see the growth in the economy, but also where we see talk of an aging workforce as well, correct?
Yeah. Yes. It's important to know that the numbers that we're looking at, the ESD did a few different ways of compiling the data, so methodologically. And so Jones picked the specific set of data because it's strictly numbers that will be replaced or new into the field, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So replacing retired individuals would be a good way to replacing people that will not be re-entering or joining a different office, that kind of thing.
So it's new positions and positions being filled.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Well, what did the data show for the occupations that won't necessarily require a 4-year degree?
Yes, and when we say it won't necessarily require a 4-year degree, they can qualify for a 4-year degree, but it's just in general. We have office and administrative support positions, and every year between 2020 and 2025, it's predicted that there will be about 1,393 positions open. followed by sales positions of 1,002. Food preparation and serving related positions at 782, and then education, training, and library related positions at 778, followed by healthcare practitioners and technical occupations at 699.
Okay, so once again, we're seeing a little bit of education, a little bit of healthcare in those numbers as well. And I think it's important to, like you and I both noted, talking about the fact that some of those positions will be people with 4-year degrees. I think, like most of our salespeople at the Journal have a 4-year degree, I believe. So some of those people will be coming out of the college ranks, but not necessarily all of them.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, that's great. Good stuff. I was curious to know, did you have any information or look at any data that talked about what careers will be on the decline or not growing as quickly?
Well, yes, we do. There's a number of them, and you can pull up that information as well on the ESD's website. What Patrick compiled, he found, well, a number of them, but some of the ones that I found interesting were statisticians, benefits managers, and zoologists are going to be expected to decline about 1 job per year during that range, which kind of surprised me, the zoology aspect of that. It seems that just kind of animal sciences is really growing, at least what I've seen, but that's just conjecture. It's not necessarily the case.
Sure, but also it could be the case that some professions would be growing, but zoology, off the top of my head, I don't know what a zoologist would do in Spokane.
Yes, exactly.
So it's probably a pretty small field anyway, right?
Here,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
And then overall for Spokane, not so much growth rate, but percentage decrease that's projected. We're seeing topping photographic process workers and processing machine operators, and then proofreaders and copy makers are the tops. So.
Yeah. So when we do we use this data or similar data to it for charts for our market fact book for top growing and declining, and our jobs are often on the top declining list.
Oh, wait, every year.
Yeah. So, but we're still here. We're still doing what we do. Good stuff. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with this data?
No, I think that really covered it. Yeah, we'll just have to see. I'm curious if they're accurate or how spot on they normally are, that kind of thing.
Right.
So
we'll have to follow up on this. I think this is a story we could do annually, actually.
Yes.
Where we look at how those trends change, because they do change over time.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, great. Good stuff. Well, look for Sam's story at SpokaneJournal.com. If you get a physical copy of the paper, thank you. And look for it in there on page B4, I want to say. Anyway, in the B section. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll talk to you soon.
On the JoB is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. On the JoB is brought to you by our friends at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. Ask Lynn a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. McNeese Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeese Wheeler Attorneys.